They didn't break up, they were separated. The dark truth behind Faye and Yoko's split for months. The internet believed one painful story. Faye and Yoko broke up. The rumors spread like wildfire. Accusations, speculations, theories, and emotional fan wars. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Fan clubs split in half. Edits disappeared. Accounts went private, and people mourned the end of one of the most beloved pairings in the industry. But what if everything we believed was wrong? What if Faye and Yoko didn't choose to walk away from each other at all? What if they were forced apart? After weeks of silent tension, new behind-the-scenes reports, staff testimony, and leaked internal notes have revealed a truth so dark, so shocking, and so heartbreaking that fans are asking the same question. Were they ever allowed to be together in the first place? This is the full, detailed breakdown of how Faye and Yoko were separated. Not by scandal, not by cheating, not by anger, but by the very system that built them. A manufactured romance? Or a genuine bond the agency couldn't control? When Faye and Yoko first appeared together, the chemistry was undeniable. They laughed easily, spoke comfortably, and shared glances that felt too real to be scripted. Fans were convinced they had discovered something special, something the industry rarely gives willingly. According to insiders, the agency initially supported their pairing because it brought money, attention, and virality. Every clip trended. Every photo shoot went viral. Every appearance boosted their brand value. But behind the scenes, something else was happening, something the agency didn't expect. They were closer than the company wanted them to be, said one former staff member. At first, it was good for business. Then it became a problem. Why? Because their bond became real. Real emotions don't follow scripts. Real connections don't obey PR schedules. And real loyalty threatens corporate control. The agency didn't want a partnership it couldn't dictate. The turning point. When Yoko became too popular, everything changed the moment Yoko's solo fame exploded. She booked major roles. She attracted high-end sponsors. Her international fan base grew faster than anyone predicted. And suddenly, the agency had a new priority. They wanted to rebrand Yoko, isolate her image, and position her as a global independent star. Pairing her too closely with Faye, they argued, would form unnecessary emotional dependency that could limit career flexibility. Those were actual phrases found in a leaked internal memo shared by a former employee. And just like that, something began shifting. Joint schedules quietly disappeared, shared interviews were canceled, marketing featuring both of them was pulled. They were instructed to post less about each other's staff, were told to reduce unsupervised interactions. It wasn't a breakup. It was the first stage of separation. Forced distance. The rules that kept them apart, several insiders revealed the shocking list of restrictions imposed on the pair after Yoko's rebrand began. 1. No messaging outside official work hours. Faye reportedly broke this rule multiple times and was reprimanded. 2. No spontaneous live streams together. Fans always wondered why they suddenly stopped going live. Now we know. 3. No gifts exchanged publicly. A staff member claimed Faye's birthday gift to Yoko was intercepted before it reached her. 4. No unscripted skinship or emotional interaction on camera. Fans noticed the change. The warmth vanished. It wasn't them. It was a rule. 5. No direct social media interaction. This was the hardest rule to hide because fans immediately noticed when they stopped liking and commenting on each other's posts. One staff member summarized it painfully clearly. They didn't break up. They were separated, and they weren't allowed to fight it. The final blow. The introduction of Grace was not an accident. She was introduced into Yoko's life like a replacement puzzle piece, perfectly placed, carefully polished, and heavily promoted. The agency treated her as the new official pairing, giving her everything Faye once had. Joint photo shoots, joint interviews, matching outfits, scripted banter, curated chemistry. Fans instantly saw it. The timing was too convenient, too manufactured. But the truth behind Grace's sudden rise was even worse. A leaked staff conversation revealed that Grace was chosen specifically to neutralize Faye's influence. "We need someone more compliant," the note read. "Someone who won't emotionally bond with Yoko." That one line confirmed what fans feared. Faye wasn't replaced because she wasn't good enough. She was replaced because she cared too much. Faye's silence was not acceptance. It was survival during the height of the rumors. Faye remained silent for weeks. Fans assumed she was heartbroken, angry, or avoiding drama. But according to two insiders, her silence wasn't voluntary. The agency allegedly prohibited her from addressing the situation publicly, fearing backlash, misinterpretations, or misalignment with future branding decisions. However, one moment slipped through the cracks. During a late-night livestream, Faye softly said, "Sometimes you have to respect decisions even if they don't feel right." It was the closest thing to a confession she was allowed to make. It was also the moment fans realized she wasn't allowed to fight for what she wanted. Yoko's pain behind the smile. Fans also noticed that Yoko wasn't herself after the separation. In interviews with Grace, she looked stiff, distant, performing a choreography she didn't ask for. According to a reliable source, Yoko pushed back internally. She didn't want to cut Faye out. But the agency made it clear, resist, and there would be consequences. Allegedly, she refused 2 early shoots with Grace. She cried during a meeting after being told to move on professionally. She requested schedules where Faye could join. All denied. She privately apologized to staff, saying, "This isn't my decision." The agency reportedly warned her that speaking openly could affect her contracts. So she smiled, performed, and carried the weight of silence. Not because she didn't care, but because she was powerless. The moment everything changed, the leak that exposed it all, the separation, might have stayed hidden forever if not for one leak. A document written by an agency executive summarizing the transition strategy for Yoko's new branding. It outlined 3 steps. Step 1. Gradual removal of Faye from all promotional materials. Step 2. Strategic elevation of Grace to fill the emotional pairing void. Step 3. Controlled narrative framing to imply a natural separation. The document ended with a chilling line. "The public must believe they drifted apart, not that they were separated." Once this leaked, the internet exploded. Suddenly, every odd moment made sense. Every cold interview, every missing interaction, every emotional live stream, every awkward smile from Yoko. They didn't drift. They didn't fight. They didn't fall out of love. They were separated with precision, planning, and intention. The public reacts. Outrage, heartbreak, and the fight for truth. The fandom mobilized instantly. Trending topics hit #1 across platforms. Thousands demanded transparency. Fan accounts released full analyses. Petitions circulated calling for independent audits. Some fans unfollowed the agency. Others demanded Faye and Yoko be allowed to reunite professionally. One heartbreaking fan comment summarized the collective feeling: "We didn't lose them. They lost each other because someone took that choice away." Where Faye and Yoko stand now, despite the noise, neither of them has directly confirmed or denied the allegations. Their silence is telling. Either they're still restricted or they're still healing. What we do know is this: Faye has shifted toward independent work. Yoko remains heavily controlled by her agency's new storyline. Grace continues to be promoted, though fan engagement remains weak. But behind all the noise, one truth remains: Faye and Yoko never wanted this. They didn't break up. They were separated. And the people who love them the most are the ones now fighting for the truth to be acknowledged.